I see you at the top, and
I'll get a couple of these other things closed off, and we're ready to go. Go right ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Wetzel, and I'd like to welcome Rich Klaus' webinar on capitalization from his book, Rich Dentist Poor Dentist. What you will learn tonight are strategies to help you more efficiently and effectively manage debt, especially establish better cash flow, and the process of building wealth. So without further ado, here is Rich Klaus.
Hey, Greg, thanks. Hey, hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're doing a little half hour later, so maybe a few more people can join. 6:30 might have been a little early. 7 o'clock, I know it's gosh darn dark at 5:30 here in the Eastern time zone, so that's no fun either. But as Greg mentioned, you can see on the front of the screen the goals for tonight. One of the most important things that I think people miss, I'm just going to circle it here on the book, is the book is the dentist's guide to a debt-free lifestyle. And if we ask any dentist what would they prefer, being in debt or not being in debt, you know what the answer is. So there's a number of ways to get there. And one of the things that we don't spend enough time about is that you need to make sure when you're working with professionals that you use an accredited professional. And what does that mean? Well, I'm a chartered financial consultant. All that means is that I've been trained in economics, insurance, tax, and enough in the legal to be able to give you some advice there and then point you in the right direction to the appropriate attorney. So many people in our business, get their license, hang it out there, and they think they've got all the answers. And it really isn't that. I mean, when you're working and trying to accomplish something as successful as you've been becoming dentists, you need to make sure you're working with professionals, and that's really, really critical. So what we really want to talk about tonight, in addition to that, is helping you kind of understand risk versus savings. And we're going to go through this in pretty good detail. How many people have heard what's in C? What comes first, the chicken, or in our language today, the debt and savings, or the egg, which is the investments? What we're going to look at tonight is most people think the egg comes first. That's because most advisors, and we'll look at it here in a minute, most advisors address and try to help you get the egg going first before you get debt and savings handled off. So our final question we're going to look at tonight is whose money should you use to pay off debt? Now, those of you who have already read the book, you know that there's 4 different ways you can do that, and we will look at that. If you look down at the bottom, you can see one of our new websites, Tax-Free Income for Dentists. It goes to the Rich Dentist Poor Dentist website, but we've got some more information on tax-free income, tax-free wealth that makes all the sense, and hopefully y'all can get out there and kind of take a look at that. So let's kind of get into it. So what we're really talking about here is these are pyramids. The question I ask is, your pyramid wobbly? What the heck does that mean? Over here on this side, you can see that most financial advice that's given today starts on this pyramid. And it starts with things that are probably investment-oriented, a la carry risk, and don't really start with the safe core values of what you need to make sure you've got a strong base. Doesn't take too much looking at this to look at that one on the right and go, it's probably a little on the wobbly side. The last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you can see what's happened to 401k plans, IRA plans. You look and see oil's up or down. It's down 15. It's down $20. Stock markets wobbling all over the place, down 600 points one day, up 100 points the next day. That causes a lot of wobbling. And what we kind of look at here, most people end up when they're over here, kind of looking at that. They're a little on the sad side because it's not working the way they would really like things, to work. When we're over here on the other side, what we're really trying to do is build a solid base for our clients. This includes, I'm going to have to get my other color up here. I got too much color. Emergency funds. Well, what's over here on this side? Speculation, growth, bonds, stocks, mutual funds on the wobbly side. That's not where you should start. What you want to do is as you move up the pyramid, things should get more risky, more speculative, higher potential rates of return, but also you run the risk of losing your money. As you come down the side, as the arrow shows, you're going to get less and less speculation, more security, more safety. So if you can develop that strong base, what happens down here is you end up with dollars that are safe and secure, and you've got this face because you're happy with what's going on. Because no one on the right-hand side ever thinks they're going to lose a lot of money in any of those other investments. But when you invest, there's a difference between investing and savings. A lot of people think it's the same. It's not the same. Savings is, it's guaranteed. You don't need to worry about it. It's going to be there. Investing has risk. And when it has risk, you can lose all your money or significant pieces of your money. So you always want to look. And when someone talks to you, and most financial folks out there today are talking about building your pyramid wobbly, it's hard to say even, wobbly, opposed to having a little more security and safety, with it. As we talked on the first page, what money should you use for paying off debts? I don't care whether it's student loan debt that some of you may have out there. It could be equipment debt. It could be practice debt. It could be real estate debt. If you use somebody else's money, one thing that I think you all realize is there's going to be a cost to that because they're going to charge you to use their money, and they should. And as we talk to our clients, if you loan money to yourself, there's a cost to that. You should charge yourself to use money because you had to earn the money, you had to pay tax on the money to get it in your account. If you're not charging yourself and paying it back to yourself, you're missing the boat. If you use your savings over here, go back one, sorry. If you use your savings over here, you're using your dollars over there, but in some cases, you have lost the growth on those dollars in most cases. When you're looking at stocks or investments, we get to ask that question a lot, and we'll go over here in depth here in a few minutes. But if you use stocks and investments, what you have to worry about are taxes. What happens if, and again, if you've read the book or been on any other webinars or gone to our website, if you use cash values from your cap plan, they're your dollars. You're in control, and you don't need to worry about any of those things that could come up in the first four pieces. So as we kind of look down the line in a little more detail, then someone else's money. If you use someone else's money, unless it's free, well, some parents out there might give it to you free, but not a lot of people are going to get that money for free. And when you don't, you're paying both principal and interest to others. So that's what I put on the other end. It's going to be costly to do that. Now, a lot of people don't know that there's any other way to do it other than use other people's money. Because, number one, in many cases, when you're first out of school, just opening a practice, you don't have any other money. So you're going to have to use somebody else's money. But there's efficiencies of being able to do that and understanding. And you don't want to continue to do that for your whole career, or someone else is going to have all your money. You're going to be okay, but you're not going to have near as much money as you should. Next is when you use your savings, it reduces your emergency fund. Remember, if we look back here, what should you have down in here? You should have all of those dollars that are available, all those safe dollars that are right there. That's what builds your emergency fund. I can't tell you the number of clients. We just had a person the other day, in fact, that they needed money. They're actually not nicely going through a divorce, and they thought there was money in their account, and they wrote the check. The money didn't come from where it was supposed to come to be in the account at the right time. Fortunately, they had another account that we suggested, let's just do an automatic transfer to get it in the account and cover it. Well, most people couldn't do that. The average American can only put their hands on like $500, and a lot of people can't even do that. So emergency funds are very, very important. But if you even use them, you're going to lose all the earnings on that money that you just spent. Why is that important? Well, it's important because compound interest is, a lot of people say, is the eighth wonder of the world. It's not when it's going against you. And when you don't have money, you're not getting any compound interest, and you've lost all, both not only the money, the dollars, but you've lost all the growth on the dollars. So if we were sitting here talking with one another, I would ask you two questions. In number one, how does that work? Is that the way you want to handle all your borrowing going forward? In borrowing it from other people and paying it to them? I think everybody that's listening tonight, and there are quite a few of you tonight, would probably say, well, no, I don't want to pay anybody else for it. That doesn't make any sense. That's costing me money. Number two, if I ask you if you had savings, would you want to use up all your savings to pay off that debt and have no money and lose the compound interest on your money? And you would say, of course not. That doesn't make any sense either. But what else is there? We talked. There's stocks and investments. Well, when you sell a stock and use it for debt or sell it for any reason, you've got income tax issues. A lot of people go, well, what do you mean by that? Well, the IRS says, we're really happy you accumulated money in investments and stocks. But when you sell it, if you have gains, you're going to have to pay income taxes on those gains. So you have to take that into consideration. Now, there's nothing wrong with selling and taking a profit, but many times that income goes on top of the rest of your income and increases your tax liability significantly. But what about if timing isn't good? What if it was 3 or 4 weeks ago when the market went down 700-800 points? Or what if it was 2008 when the market went down 30% and your accounts had lost money and you were counting on that money to help you get out of debt? That's not going to be too good a situation. So in a lot of cases, we've had dentists, because of weather problems, because of collections problems, they had to go back to the bank and borrow more money. Well, if, again, we were talking to one another right now, I would ask you, do they have to qualify for that? Would they maybe have to put collateral up for that? And the answer to all those questions is yes, they would have. And it's not a quick process if, and I'm assuming most all of you have borrowed money, it's a little easier to borrow it as a student. You get out, have a practice, and doing anything gets more complicated because they know you have something and they want that collateral. But if it works, you still have lost all the earnings that you could have had. So you sold that stock for a profit. Well, maybe it will continue to go up. Maybe you could have had a bigger profit. But when you lose the earnings, you've lost everything you could have earned, and your compound interest starts over again. As you probably remember, let me change colors because now we're talking about something good here, so we're going to go green. Compound interest goes like this. So the longer you have compound interest working on your behalf, the more money you're going to make. So every time you sell something, whether it's your savings account money or your stocks or investment accounts, and you lose that compound interest, you start over again, all the way down here, and you have to bring it back up. And it's never going to catch where it was before. So the fourth way, and again, those of you who have heard Greg and I speak before, or you've read the book, or listened to some other live webinars, or listened to one of the podcasts, or read the blogs, if you use your cash value from your CAP plan, and again, if you remember, that's a specially designed whole life policy that has cash values that are designed with the IRS guidelines in mind to be totally tax-free. First of all, the funds are available with just a phone call. We'll have, I think we had a dentist client on yesterday called. Needed money by the end of the week for something. Christina, our lead assistant that handles all that, was able to pick the phone call up and got an ACH direct transfer. It's going to be in the dentist account on Thursday. Try that with a bank if you don't have any money in there. It isn't going to work. The other important thing is your money never leaves your policy. So if you've got a block over here and this is your policy, those dollars never leave it. what happens, and we'll talk about it in a minute, here is the insurance company, and they've got the money, and they send you their money. If you think about that, that's a pretty good deal because you've just used your cash that's in your policy as collateral for the insurance company to give you their money. Your cash values continue to earn uninterrupted compound interest, and now we're here like that with your money instead of never getting back up there. When you use that for a loan or pay debts off, we recommend all of our clients make the exact same payments at least back so the collateral is reduced because the insurance company hasn't given you as much of their money, and you've got that same money to be able to use over and over again. So when we summarize these, we want to make sure that you can come back to us and tell us why you wouldn't want to borrow the money, why you wouldn't want to use cash and pay cash, why you wouldn't want to sell stocks or other investments to do it, why would you want to use the cash value. Because when you can do that and tell Greg and I why, you own your own program. You understand it. You know why you're doing it. Nothing else is going to come in the way of that once you understand it. If you read something, if somebody tells you something, if an investment person says, well, no, that's stupid, you shouldn't do that, you're going to know exactly why you are doing it and why you want to continue to do it and why you want to build it even farther. So one of the questions we do get from our established dentists, because when they've talked to an investment advisor, most investment advisors are pretty good at getting the dentist to give them some money. So they have some savings and some investments. And what we always hear, Greg and I get this question at least once a week, why do I need to buy the darn cap plan with cash values? I'll just use my own money. We say, great, let's look at it. Let's see how that works. So if you had $50,000 in savings or an investment account, and you owed $50,000 or were getting ready to borrow $50,000 on equipment, if you took your $50,000 out of your savings account and paid off your $50,000 there or paid cash, how much money would you have left in your savings account? It's pretty basic. You'd have zero money because you took your $50,000 out. How much interest would you be earning? You would earn zero interest because you have no money in the account. When you put $50,000 back in the account because you're saving money because you know you need it later, how much money would you have in the account at that point? You'd have $50,000 again, and you would then start earning interest again. That's where the compound interest is restarting, again. Let's compare that. If you had $50,000 in cash value inside your cap plan, in that specially designed policy, that's where the accredited advisor can help you because they understand how to build them properly for you. And you took $50,000 out to, again, pay this off. If I ask 100 people how much money they have left in their cash values at that point in time, a very, very high percentage, probably 90%, would say, I have $0 because the insurance company just gave me $50,000. Well, that's not exactly what happens. And let's kind of carry this through. In our same example, in the savings account, we put $50,000 back into the savings account. Now, if you put another $50,000 back into your cash value account, wait a minute. In the right-hand side, you put $50,000 in the savings account, you had $50,000 back in there. How over here can you have $55,000? Can the insurance company afford to pay you a 10% rate of return these days? You had no money in the account. You put $50,000 back in, now you got $55,000. That's a 10% rate of return. They can't afford to pay you that. So what's happening? As we talked about on the previous screen, the life insurance company has all these investments. They give you their money, their $50,000. They have loaned and taken a collateral or a lien position against your $50,000. Now, they gave you their money. Do you have to pay to use their money? Yes, you do. If they charged you 5% to use their money, and you made a 10% growth because you put 50 in, it went to 55. And as I said earlier, the insurance company can't afford to pay you 10. The only way that happens is you're earning uninterrupted compound interest on your $50,000 because it never left the policy. So if it doesn't leave the policy, you're continuing to earn that uninterrupted compound interest. That 10% is real money to you. We ask every one of our dentists, how many times would you loan or pay someone 5% interest to turn around and make 10% on that same amount of money? They go, well, as many times as someone would let me do that. Once a dentist understands why and how this is so different than any other savings, using an investment account, borrowing money from other sources, it's a no-brainer for them to get involved in this. So hopefully that makes sense. This takes some time to go back through this and understand it. And as we know, we're available for a complimentary 30-minute WebEx phone call to answer any of your questions. It takes a while to get this page, but once you've got it, it's the key to understanding everything else. So tonight I want to finish up with some questions. And this is really important to think very hard about this. Number A, are you willing to choose a different financial path than everybody else? As Greg and I talk about when we're giving talks to various groups, if there are 25, 30 people on this call tonight, a lot of people are going, this makes all sense in the world. Why haven't I heard about this? Why haven't I done this? When we get done with the call, you have the option to call us, email us, to set a time up to see how it would work for you. There might be, if there's 30 people on there, there might be 5 or 6 people that will take us up on that offer. It's a free consultation. It's a free analysis. Well, why won't they do it? They just won't take the time to do it, even if it's increasing your wealth. Now, let me ask you this. Would you be happy if you could increase your wealth? Why wouldn't you take the time to see if that could work for you? B, do you want to control your money and cash flow or let the equipment companies and the banks control them? Well, that's a pretty easy answer. No one thinks about it, but they don't want the banks to control them. When the banks over here are controlling your money, you should be going, man, I'm not very happy about that, because who's losing the wealth? You're losing the wealth. If over here you're controlling them, you should be going, here I am again. I'm the happy man because I'm controlling my cash. C, is understanding how money works, really works, instead of following the herd. Well, what's it take to understand how money really works? It takes a little bit of time. You've got to have some effort involved. It's your money. It's your life. It's your family. You should be willing to put a little effort. If not, you're going to follow the herd. And you're going to do exactly what everybody else is doing. And if you do that, you're not going to come close to your full economic and financial ceiling that you can get to. But it takes a little effort. Greg and I will do anything we can to help you. We'll take as much time to help you understand it. But unless you're willing to put some effort together and take some time, it's never going to work. Okay, now we're at D. Basically, it's the same scenario. It's going to take some time. What does that mean? Take some time means you need to give us some information. We need your financial information. We're a little bit like a doctor, like you to a certain degree. If a patient comes in and says, oh, my tooth hurts, what are you going to do? Oh, let me pull that tooth out. Well, no, you're not going to do that. You're going to take x-rays. You're going to take time. You want to understand what's causing the pain, what's the right procedure to do. We're no different than that. People just can't say, hey, I want one of these. We need to understand what you're doing. Well, that takes some time because you're going to have to gather some information. But again, is it worth a little bit of time to create wealth for you and the family? And what does wealth really do? Wealth gives you the freedom and takes stress out of your life. How many of you are stressed right now about not having enough time at home with the family? If you're a gal and have some babies at home and you're trying to figure out, does it make more, should I work 4 days a week? Should I work 5 days a week? Well, no, I should be at home with the little one and my husband or my wife. So it's money can solve a lot of those problems. And if you're not taking the time to see and understand what the most efficient way to do it, you're just hurting yourself and your family. So you need to take some time, because if you don't, you're going to fall in the same traditional traps as most dentists do. You're going to end up the same place. Greg and I were talking earlier today, in fact, that a majority of dentists, let me just put this up here, when they get out, and this is too big a word to write here, but if they get out to retirement, they cannot sell their practice for enough to produce income that they can retire on. And that's sad. You put 20, 30 years into building a practice, and you can't get enough income to retire. If that's not one of these, I don't know what is. We would much rather have our clients over here with income because they controlled their cash, they controlled their cash flow, they controlled their debt, they earned money on their debt instead of losing money, and they've got income to retire. If that's not the big happy face, I don't know what is. Well, we're starting to run a little close on time tonight. I want to stress again, all it takes is for you to take some time. Because you're involved with this, because we've either spoken at one of the universities or you've come to another one of our events, you've got a complimentary 30-minute phone call or webinar to see how this can work for you on a personal basis. There's no way that you're going to know whether it works unless you take the time to get us some information. And we should have dentists lined up outside our door. This works so well, it makes so much sense that everybody should be wanting our time to help these get set up. Now, we're doing a lot with a lot of dentists all over the country. I'm just working with some dentists out in the LA area, another one in the Vegas area, another one down in Georgia. So it's growing over the states, but here we've got a lot of you that have been at least one time or another relatively local in one of the colleges around, whether it's at the Ohio State University or other ones. So take advantage. A lot of you we can see face to face. There's people in LA, we're doing webinars on it. It would be great if we could see you face to face. So again, we want to make sure that you can see and have it work for you on a personal basis. So again, the debt piece of the website is the dental debt relief. You got 30 minutes free. Take advantage. Greg and I together, I hate to say it, I know we're not that old, but we've probably got about at least 60 years or more working with dentists in various capacities, so we understand it, and we've got a lot of contacts. So, Greg, we got a few minutes here. I know some questions came in. What questions do we have that I can maybe answer?
Again, why is it important to use an experienced advisor like yourself?
The experience is so important because, A, you're getting someone that's credentialized. You're getting someone that has your best interest at heart. You're getting someone that's looking at all kinds of different plans of action to get you to where you want to be. There are so many people in the financial world that the only thing they're concerned with is you buying the product. If you've heard my club versus swing talk, they sell clubs. They sell the driver to hit the ball as far as you can. We sell swings. We sell process. And how does all this fit together to make your life less stressful, have more money, be able to enjoy time with your family, and create wealth? So the accredited investor, whether it's us or somebody else, is going to take the time to do that for you. What else you got there, Greg?
One quote in, he said, Rich, your pyramid makes sense, but why don't I hear more about it?
That's another great question. We have an awful lot of what we do that we hear that. this makes sense. Why haven't I heard about it? Well, let me ask you. I'm going to flip back to that page, and let's look at it. It takes me a while to flip back on that screen. Sorry. If you sell investments, do you want to say you ought to put money in the green protection side, or do you want to get dollars as soon as you can? So part of it is that's not what they do for a living. They don't do protection, emergency funds, or any of those types of things for you. They sell stocks, they sell bonds, they sell mutual funds, they sell real estate, they sell shelters. So what you get is they're more concerned about getting the money in, and they can show some numbers of why it may work just fine over a period of time. Well, it may, but if it doesn't, you're going to be awful wobbly. So most of the time when people, they either A, don't understand this because they've never been trained, or B, it's not in their best interest. Just as we've mentioned before, bankers, are they going to tell you about this, how you don't need to ever use the banker, where we can come through and help you with debt management using your cap plans? No, but we think you need to have a great relationship with the bankers because we need to use them. We just don't need to use them to the extent that most of you are or will continue to use them. Got time for one more, Greg, I think.
Well, will you work with us year to year to keep on target?
That's one of the biggest things. We talk, and Christina spends so much time with our dentists because if you think about it, if you're a student or recently out, how many loans do you have? If you haven't consolidated them, you might have 10, 12, 15 loans. That's going to take more than one time in a year to help you get that set up properly. When should you refinance them? Probably not 6 months after you get out when you have to start paying them because you don't have a track record. When you own a practice, what's happening in the practice? You've got cash flow concerns all over the place. Okay, you've got maybe you still have some student loans left. You have maybe the practice loan and buying into the practice. You might have 3 or 4 pieces of equipment, maybe some of them are old. When should you buy the new equipment? How should you pay for the equipment? So we're involved in every step of that way. So we're very, very actively involved, with our dentists, and that's why we want to be. Not that you aren't very smart in what you want to do, but we want you to run those questions by us because that's what we do every day with dentists around the country. One more, Greg, then we got to let them go.
All righty. Well, you mentioned about student loans. If I've got a lot of student loans, how do I begin to address that and at the same time start to build wealth when I have all that debt?
Well, that's not an easy situation. But until we understand what you're doing, what's your cash flow? Have you gone from making nothing to making $125, from nothing to making $200,000 a year? It takes the discipline as we talk to our college students in the fraternities when we talk about that when they get out for that first job, they have to make a decision. They're either going to lifestyle their new income all the way up, and then they're going to fight with their student loans and fight when they need to get a loan from a bank to purchase a practice or become an associate in some cases. They might have a buy-in at that point in time. So unless there's some discipline involved, it's very, very difficult. We help them figure out when they have to start paying them. We help what we think they should pay. We help them get them consolidated, hopefully in 5 or 6 instead of 15, not in 1, because you can't effectively pay one off. So is it easy? No. But again, that's what we do every day. So as we jokingly say to them, don't you hope we're right? Don't you hope we can get that taken care of for you? Well, I think that's about all the time. We run a little bit long tonight. We apologize. We always try to keep it right to 30 minutes. I can't stress enough, call us, email us. A lot of you we don't have phone numbers for. We've got the email address that Greg sends out the options for all these webinars. So please email us. Let us know. We're sure not going to jump up and bite. All we're there to do is help, and we can't help unless we talk to you. We can't help unless we get a lot of information from you. So thanks again for joining us tonight. We probably won't have another one this year, so have a great holiday season. We'll see you back in January with the next one, and hopefully you can get smarter and go out to the website, and we'll go ahead and send this out for everybody that's on the call tonight, so you'll have a copy of it with all the Mike Purdy scribbles and everything else on it. Thanks again. Enjoy the holidays.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks, Greg.